we were pissing neon green every day.
The big ball of heat in the sky was too much.
I thought there was a bear.
Reality goes, yeah, fresco. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, everybody. What's up, everybody? Welcome to
StouryTime.
StouryTime. Hey, everybody. Welcome to StouryTime with John and Friends. I'm your host, John. Today, we have a great episode planned for you. My new friend, Nighthawk, who is a part of the band Heavy Temple, has joined me. How you doing today, Nighthawk?
Wonderful. A little bit warmer than it was yesterday, so not too bad.
Where are you at? You're in Philly?
I am in Philly.
What's it like out there, temperature-wise?
I mean, maybe like 40, 50s, maybe? I don't know. The sun's kind of out today.
I wish. I mean, we got sun today, but I'm up in Buffalo, so it's pretty cold here all the time. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So you actually have it quite a bit nicer than we do right now. We're still in the 20s, so.
Yeah, we get like snow. We get a couple inches of snow, and everybody freaks out. But
yeah, no, we get wrecked.
yeah. My mom's from Ohio. It's always
okay.
like,
Yeah.
I can't believe you guys closed. I know.
Lake Erie will get you.
Yes, true. Oh, you're up there? Are you gonna see there's like a solar eclipse next month?
I mean, we're gonna try. We'll see.
For April,
right?
maybe?
Yeah, I think it's in April. Yeah. So we'll give it a shot. Me and my wife we'll see if we can see it. But I guess there's like, from what I've seen online, people are having an issue finding the glasses for it. So we'll see.
Right. Okay. Well, let's go. No glasses. 2024. Burn my eyes right out.
Yeah. So I reached out to you. I saw that you were on tour last year in Europe. Was it with your band Heavy Temple?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we went out with our label mates, Howling Giant.
Very nice. Yeah, so I reached out because I thought she looks like she's got some stories she could share. But before we get into the stories, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I started Heavy Temple, I guess, in 2012. I had been in a couple bands and just like wasn't really doing anything, and I was like stir crazy. So I just wrote a bunch of stuff, and 12 years later, here we are. That's like the abridged version. And then just more personally, I guess, like I started playing cello and piano at a young age. And then just kind of like taught myself how to play guitar. And it was like, in the era where like cursive was really popular, so everybody's like, come be sad with me on this track and play your cello. And I was like, that's cool. And I was like, I think I want to step it up a notch. So bought a bass, and here we are.
That's awesome. I gotta say that's one of the coolest looking basses I've seen.
The white one?
Yeah, it's a star, right?
Yeah, I have two actually. One is purple Warwick, and the other one is that white Trademan. They're both bootsy basses.
Very cool. Is there like a story behind that, or you were just like, this is kick ass, I need it?
That's kind of the story. I was hanging out with some friends, and we were just looking up pointy basses for like, talking about like black metal and looking up pointy basses, and that kind of came up, and everybody's like, yeah, you should buy. And I was like, okay. And then I got the purple one initially. I had it for a month or two, and I was like, man, I'm gonna look like such a dickhead if I play this. It's like if I play this and it doesn't sound, it's a jazz bass, which that's my thing. I love J basses, but like I'm gonna look like such a dick if I play this and it sounds horrible. But my friend picked it up just to like try it on. I was like, that actually looks really cool. And then I plugged it in, and it sounds great on its own. So yeah, and so then the second one is an interesting story, not tour, but it is an interesting story. I got that bass via Guar.
Oh, really?
So my friend was filling in as like, I can't remember his name, like Lord Beef or whatever their bass player is. He's filling in for doing bass, and he hits me up and he's like, check this thing out on Facebook Marketplace. I'm like, whoa, that's sick. I just gotten like my tax return or something, so I was like, I'll do it. And I'm like, wait, you're in Vancouver. Like, how am I going to do this? And so he's like, let me hit up my friend. The guy who's selling the bass is like some chocolatier in Vancouver somewhere.
Okay.
So my friend in Guar hits up his friend who's the bass player in this band, Mets, who are super awesome. If you're not familiar, he is like, oh, I go into this chocolatier shop all the time. Gets the bass from him, then the dude who's picking up Mets to bring them into the States is in Chicago. He transfers the bass to this dude in Chicago, and then when the dude drives from Chicago to New York to drop off a van, I meet him there, and that's how I end up with this bass. But Mets was going on tour. I was like, just bring it with you. And he's like, no, just in case something happens, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
2 days into their tour, their entire van and trailer gets stolen.
Oh no.
So I could have very likely not ever could have paid for that bass without ever having played it.
Yeah, that sucked.
So that one has a bit more interesting story. The first one is just like idiots looking up pointy basses on the internet, making impulse buys.
I love that. I actually a friend of mine from Buffalo. He was their Guar's sound guy for quite some time, and then ended up relocating to where are they from? South Carolina, North Carolina,
Richmond.
Yeah, Richmond. Yeah. So he relocated, and actually, I think he ran their studio for a little while.
Oh, okay. Does he still work with them?
No, I think he recently moved back to Buffalo. I haven't seen him since he's been back, but I think he recently moved back within the last year or two.
We saw them at Muddy Roots last year, and it turns out one of our friends, his friend, is like doing stuff for them. So it's just small world.
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
Probably know each other.
I mean, especially with that band too, they've just go through so many people, right?
And oh my god, I mean, I get it. At least they have costumes.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I should bring back costumes. Nobody can know.
Yeah,
but I like that too, because that makes it more about like the music itself, you know.
Yeah. It's like
if I don't know who you are and the music's good, it's like great, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yep, I totally agree. So I saw that you guys released a new single in January. Great song.
You did. Thank you.
Ripper. Love it.
Thank you.
Congratulations on that. Do you guys have any other new material coming out this year? A record, or was that just a single?
I think we actually have another single dropping this week. And then our third single comes out in March, and then our new album comes out April 12th.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah,
very cool. Make sure everybody's on the lookout for that.
Not in a pandemic this year, so yeah. Trying to film a music video in the pandemic is very hard.
Really? Was it just because you couldn't get?
Well, the last album we had oh my gosh, I can't remember his name. Oh, I might have to get back to you on that. But it's a really awesome dude. He did a video for our friends in Morgul Blade and a couple other cool things. But he filmed this video in Wales, like in the countryside. It was super cool. But
that's awesome.
They had like curfews. We were gonna do some live stuff, and then our guitarist got COVID. Blah blah blah. So we just had like cobble it together. But this time we had like so much to work with. So it's exciting. It's like doing music video stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't end up on Catatonic Youth. Oh, it's my worst nightmare.
That's funny. Okay. Yeah. So I reached out, saw if you wanted to see or share some stories with us, and let's hear what you got to share.
Okay. Well, you know, I sent you some outline, just as like a couple bullet points. I was trying to. It's funny when you asked, I was like, "Oh yeah, totally," and then I'm like thinking about tour stuff, and I'm like, "Yeah, that was funny." I'm like, "No, I can't tell that one." I'm like, "Oh yeah," I'm like, "No, I probably shouldn't," because it's nothing insane, but it's just like, you know.
Well, I will say, every episode I've either muted names or completely removed a story or a section of a story because. As a former touring musician, I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble here. I'm not trying to get, you know.
No. There's like no marriages are being broken up. Nobody's like addicted to like. There's no statute of limitations on like some B&Es that happen or anything. It's nothing like that. But you know, just it's either one. It's like had to be there, or like maybe we did turn into the wrong lane of traffic. Almost kill ourselves.
That's wild.
But no, I think these are all pretty harmless as far as reputations are concerned. Yeah, so I mean, it depends. Do you want? I think probably the most widely known tour story is getting robbed in Milan.
Was this recent?
Shouldn't be. This is on our European tour.
Wow.
In October. So we were. We decided, I don't know if it's something happened, but like we had a bunch of time to kill, and we just like went to the mall in Milan, and we were just like stopped for coffee or whatever, and I get this text message. It's like, you gotta come outside right now. We've been robbed, and I'm like, okay, okay, sure. So I go outside, and it's like all the boys standing around the van, and it was just like under a security camera, 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and it was just like small window punched in, took all the bags on the seats, and then just rolled. So thankfully, none of our gear got stolen. Right.
Yeah, but what about passports and everything?
We had to replace some passports.
Okay.
Very efficient. And they look cool. They're like purple when they're temporary. But it was a huge. I mean, it was like it's horrible for anybody who's experienced that, and especially it's our first time in Europe. We're all super excited. And then it's like, oh, great. I guess we'll do this now in a country where it's like nobody spoke English, or like not enough that we could, because we're just like a mile a minute and Americans and just blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I think Howling Giant got the drummer from Howling Giant, I think, got it the worst. Like literally, like no clothes, no passport, no money, no computer, no in-ears, like everything.
That's
like,
tough.
but we're buying new underwear. We're like, and I mean, like, not. It seems so small in comparison, but like I had like my tour journal. Like nobody cares what's in there except me.
Yeah.
I literally had just bought the most amazing black dress. Like it's like you spend your whole life looking for this dress, and this one was just like calling out to me in Italian from the rack, and it was in the van for like 5 minutes.
Oh no.
Like, but I mean, that's all replaceable stuff. But and then I was like, I had like someone else's phone. We had to go get the window fixed. If they couldn't fix it, we're taping it. And I like have someone's phone, and I'm speaking to this guy in Italian and trying to translate what he's saying with what like conversational Italian I know. And I'm just like, so but I can't speak for everybody else involved. But for me, that was like a big catalyzing event.
Was that in the beginning of the tour?
Let's see, Italy. It's like kind of right in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we'd had like a bunch of really good shows, and then, just this absolute like super deflating.
Yeah.
But then we played this really small town. I think it was the next night, and a friend of mine who's Italian, he's from around there, let them know. He was like, yeah, my friends are coming, like this, blah, 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 blah. And we got there, and it was like, they made, our driver was vegan, so they made him food. They made like all this lasagna, and like, we're just like, it was just like this huge family party.
Right. Yeah.
And it was just really kind of like humbling. And like feeling that from complete strangers across the ocean, it's just super cool. And we our label put together a GoFundMe, because I think we lost maybe like 10 grand's worth of stuff.
Wow.
And then yeah, it was or I can't remember how much stuff. I can't remember whatever it was. It doesn't matter, but like monetarily, whatever we lost, like we made our goal, and people just like kept donating. And it was just like, just seeing like King Buffalo, I think it was King Buffalo, and like Elder, Obsessed, I Hate God, like all these bands like shared, and like all, it was just really, that's why I feel like this catalyzing like thing, I guess, or whatever. I don't know. It gave me kind of a perspective shift, and it's also really nice to just like,
you saw the support. You got the support and the love from people.
Like,
yeah,
it's because sometimes you're doing stuff, and it's like, this is fun, but like, does anybody care?
Yeah. I mean, that's why I stopped touring.
Yeah. No, it's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah.
And we were able to recover everything that we lost, and then some, and it was just like, it's really overwhelming.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that was, even though it was horrible at the time, and then also you kind of get back, and you're like, doesn't matter. Like I honestly, like I wouldn't I don't think I would have changed anything. I mean, there's probably a couple, maybe that black dress I would have liked to have kept, but I know it sounds kind of silly, but it's
the one that got away.
the one that got away. But yeah, it's just kind of like, it's turning lemons into life hands you lemonades, and when life hands you lemons, add vodka. That's what my mom says. Not an alcoholic, really sweet lady, but but that's kind of what it was. Just trying to.
Yeah, that's great. So, what did that feel like? Just being like, because I've had.
Oh, I was despondent as fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
It does not feel good.
Right.
It's
yeah.
so we're all like in the fan. It's like, if I could fucking kill somebody, I mean, because it gets really dark. Because you're just like thievery. It's just like. Like,
yeah, and you're just so far from home.
You're like, I also don't have any money, you fucking dick. Like, cool. Like, we're on the same team, man.
Yeah.
If you just come up to me and been like, yo, can I? Because nothing. I mean, like the laptop, sure, and the cash, obviously, but it's like.
Yeah, that's.
It's like when somebody breaks into your car and they take like Danny's Rock Mix, October 2008. Like maybe Danny loves all those fucking songs. He hates Disturbed now, but it's still like nostalgia. It's like, whatever person stole your 200 CD book from high school doesn't give a shit about any of that. But it's just like, that's what's so like gut wrenching,
Mm-hmm.
It's to know that's like, if you were stealing food out of my van because you have to feed your family, that's one thing, but it's just like you're literally just taking people's shit that are like, we're not from here. I mean, we were probably marks, from the minute we got out of the van. But lessons learned.
Yeah.
And then of course everybody after we were like, oh, Milan never did. It's like, cool. That date's only been posted for like 2 fucking months. Like,
thanks for the heads up.
I guess they're like, ew, it was shittily. I'm like, what?
Man.
Why didn't you guys tell me this before? But no, I still, Italy is my favorite European country still, despite all that. So, but we got through it. We didn't have any of our gear stolen. Like, still have my platform boots. So, all is right with the world.
The important stuff, yeah. Except for that dress.
Except for that fucking dress. I even went through my credit card history, like what's the name of the store, and then I looked it up and it's not online. I was like, all right, whatever. I just got a great white. What do they call it in Hot Tub Time Machine? Great White Buffalo.
Yeah.
Great Black Buffalo, because that dresses. Anyway,
great movie.
Moving on.
Next year on the list.
Black dresses are now a trigger for me.
I totally understand. I get it. It's crazy to hear that perspective, like you being in another country too, because I've never had anything robbed.
Our first time there.
Yeah, right. But
so
we've never had anything robbed because we were always so paranoid about it over the 8 years that we toured. So we'd always leave someone in the van, like draw straws, and if you lose, you get to sleep in the van. Actually, the only place that I had to pull a knife on somebody was in Philly.
I mean that tracks, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And to be fair, we were just being lazy and didn't want to bring it into whoever's house we were staying at.
Oh,
so I just stayed in the van. So
happens.
Yeah,
I'm guilty. I'm guilty.
But I had this band. They crashed at my house, or my apartment rather, years ago, and they had a 15 passenger van with a trailer, and I was like, listen, it's the city of Buffalo. I'm in a nice area. All the people around me are homeowners, but we're gonna park the car right up against your trailer so it doesn't get stolen. We were up till like 7, 8 in the morning on the porch, smoking, drinking, partying, whatever.
As one does.
As soon as we go inside, apparently these people were parked like down the street waiting. Yeah. Oh yeah. Waiting. And as soon as we went inside, they popped all the locks and stole a few things. They couldn't really get too much out, but like they broke into the van, all this stuff. And I'm like, this isn't my stuff. Like I felt so bad. I'm like, you're in a good area. You've got nothing to worry about, but like, I can't help it if the hood comes to my area,
Yeah. You're like, I live in a Norman Rockwell painting. And then it's like,
exactly.
What is it? The National Lampoons. Roll them up.
But it's crazy to hear like the perspective of you're not even in America. You're in a totally different country, and there's not really a lot you can do. That's wild.
Nope. But I learned how to speak Italian pretty quickly.
That's amazing. Me and my wife went there for our honeymoon to Italy, and we did like 4 different cities, I think, over 10 days. And we talk about it almost daily that we want to go back just because it was incredible.
Beautiful. Did you guys go to Turin by any chance?
No, we did Florence, Venice, Sereno, and Rome.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah. It's incredible.
But I ask about Turin because I don't know if you're a horror enthusiast, but that's where Argento filmed.
Okay.
Like that town square in Deep Red, he did like a bunch of. Well, also like it's Turin, so it's right there. But there's like a lot of Satanist activity. So that's where Dario Argento calls it like one of the most beautiful cities in Italy. So he filmed a bunch there. So
that's cool.
Next time you go, I'm sure there's like some Dario Argento walking tour or something.
Yeah. No, I'll have to look that up. That's pretty cool. That sounds pretty cool. All right. So next here, getting iced on tour with ecstatic vision.
Oh God. Yeah. That's like a million stories in
people
one.
People are still icing?
As you and I are doing this podcast, someone's getting iced right now.
Oh, for sure. Guarantee. Yeah.
It's like every 5 minutes, someone in America takes a knee. Yeah, I don't remember at what point we started doing that, but like we started doing ecstatic vision, and it got like more involved and diabolical each time. So I think it started with one of them. We we're like staying at houses, and sometimes you split up or whatever. So their drummer left his sleeping bag with us. So we put one at the bottom of his sleeping bag and rolled it up and gave it back to him, right? And then they have like the van mirrors that flip in. So we put one next to the mirror. You can't turn the mirror out without having to, So they're like little things like that. But then as tour progressed, they got like way more vicious. We iced the singer from Zeal and Ardor. He took it like a champ. But I think there was one where we went to like a park, like a national park, to kill some time, and we saw these little frog trash cans that they have at like rest stops and stuff. It's like huge open mouth. And we were like, okay, so Mike, Ecstatic Vision's bass player, is absolutely gonna love this if we do this. So they get there, and we're like, Mike, go shit in that frog's mouth. And he goes over, and there's just like an ice sitting inside of this trash can.
That's amazing. Was he gonna shit in the frog's mouth?
No, I don't think so. But we just knew that he would look if we, what I mean. I think he also farted in Paisley's face while he was getting ice. It's just like, and I think we stayed with one of our friends in Johnson City, and he's got a hot tub. And the drummer from Ecstatic Vision put an ice in the hot tub before we played the show.
Oh, man.
And guess who stepped on it when we all went to get in the hot tub later? And because I am a gentleman and I have honor, I did drink it. I didn't get sick, thankfully. But I think the ultimate ice was we played a show in Texas. And we all stayed together. Ecstatic Vision left first. We leave later. And we stopped at like a Buc-ee's. I think that was our first time at Buc-ee's, actually, because we'd heard so much about it. So we're like, gotta go to Buc-ee's. So we go to Buc-ee's and we come back out, and the girl that's doing merch for us, we all see this like what's this weird like Blair Witch shit hanging off the back of our van? Mm-hmm. And so our poor merch girl goes to investigate, and it is like heavy cord like tied into this like fisherman's fucking net with like an icy cup in it and then an ice inside of it. Like it's tied so that you can only crack the ice and drink it inside of the. I put a video on our Instagram. You can only crack the ice and drink it inside of this like contraption. So the bass player, we told him in the trash can. He, I guess, made this at some point. I'm just imagining him like in the back of the van. It's dark, and he's like Gollum, and he's just like so mad that he keeps getting ice. He's like furiously like hand making this fucking totem.
He's like,
and we
knitting.
get to so we come out, and it's apparently he had like tucked it under our bumper, so that when we pulled out, we wouldn't see it. But then we're just driving through Texas with like a fucking Smirnoff Ice hanging off the back of the car. And yeah, so she also was very honorable, and she drank it. I think it was like green apple. It was very warm.
So gross.
But
they're gross to begin with. So drinking a warm one just sounds traumatizing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think we've iced Toke, we've iced Ruby the Hatchet. We've iced pretty much everybody.
I gotta ask, what is the allure of Buc-ee's? Because this is like I feel like this is a fairly like recent thing that people are posting all over the internet.
So, well, the first one's opening in Pennsylvania soon, probably out in Trump country somewhere, but not anywhere near Philly. But I mean, for us as people from the north, us Yankees don't have Buc-ee's, so it's kind of like a it's one of those things. But also they have a friggin' that cool ass beaver. Their branding is whoever their marketing manager is. Like, I need to hire for Heavy Temple, but like it's just this 10th wonder of the world.
Is it a grocery store? Like, what is this?
It's like imagine if a Sheetz had sex with like a Marshall's Home Goods. Okay. And then they opened up a brisket station in the middle. You know what I mean? So you can go to like the Buc-ee's like jerky wall.
Yeah.
But then you can also go like buy like Live Laugh Love shit, and like those shirts that are like, my husband's a piece of shit, but I love him anyway. You know, I mean, that kind of those
$20 is $20.
Right. But they but I will say, what I've noticed is that their wages seem pretty freaking reasonable, honestly. Like, I could probably be making just as much money being a manager at Buc-ee's. So that's cool. So I do appreciate, on like the social tip, I do appreciate
that. No, that's great.
But no, it's just like a thing. The best time to go is at night when there's nobody there. If you go on a Saturday, forget it. It's like everybody in Texas, or because they're all over the place now.
Right.
But it's just I don't know.
Is it like a gas station?
It's a gas station, all right. You should look up aerial views of Buc-ee's, and it looks like a naval refueling base.
Wow.
And they have a bronze statue of Buc-ee outside of every location.
Love that. I've seen a lot of people, like a lot of my friends that are still touring or like just in the industry doing sound and stuff. They'll post pictures of them at Buc-ee's. I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea what this is. So thank you for clarifying.
No problem. I mean, I really do like. I mean, they reshare stuff. I appreciate when businesses have kind of like can be somewhat community based, even if it's performative. But still, It's like if corporations like that can be sort of community based, like Taco Bell. It's like if you're in a band, we'll just give you free food. It's like with pork meat and sawdust, but still, it's like it's free.
Right. Yeah.
So I kind of like when companies kind of lean into that and have like a little bit of a sense of humor, and it's nice. We're out here working too. Everybody thinks the tour is a vacation, and it's like you literally just drive for like anywhere from 4 to 12 hours, set up, wait for another 4 to 6 hours, try not to get hammered, play for 30 minutes, and then leave and go to sleep. And then do the same thing.
It's funny too, because I had an episode come out yesterday, and somebody commented on the clip that I made that it was like they were talking about how a lot of Walmarts aren't 24 hours anymore, so you can't park there. But if you go to Cracker Barrel, they encourage it. And then they were talking about Cracker Barrel or whatever, and how you wake up, you get up, you go eat breakfast, and then
it's good for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, let me sleep in your parking lot, and then I'll buy some sausage biscuits and gravy.
Exactly. But one of the comments was like, this is ridiculous. It's not that hard to prepare food for a tour and blah blah blah, all this stuff. And I'm just like,
All right,
you
Trevor.
have never toured.
What band are you in?
Yeah, you've
I
never
hate
toured.
that.
There's no way you've toured. If this is how it's so much like easier said than done. Especially because name bands that are playing smaller clubs or DIY tours that are making money. You're getting paid to make it to the next town for the most part. You know?
Oh wait, hold on. I have a list. And I'm done.
Great list.
Yeah, dude, like nobody's yeah. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, people.
But it's good. I mean,
it's
good to let people know. You know?
Sure.
I mean, you can get into that thing where it's like, oh, you're not coming to like, you're not coming to like whatever friggin' town in like North Dakota. It's like, no, dude, because I can't. Like, I physically like I would love to come play for you, but I can't.
But I can't play to 3 people, you and your 2 friends. Yeah.
And driving 12 hours out of the way. It's like, oh, why did you book the show in this city when there's this other show? It's like, dude, come on, man. I don't know. Man. Yeah. I don't know. But we do our best. Everybody does their best. But no, I mean, even still, it's like I'm glad that you guys want to come. I'm glad that you guys want us to come play.
Yeah, for sure. As musicians, we all appreciate the support in any way.
We wouldn't even be able to do anything. We wouldn't even be able to do like a long weekend if it weren't for anybody wanting to come see us. So I'll never fault anyone for coming to see us. Just please, when I release my tour dates, do not ask me. Because most of the time, we just got a booking agent for the first time like last year. It's been me like the whole time.
Yeah.
So now I can actually say like, I don't know. I didn't do it. It's not my fault.
Oh, that's got to be such a weight lifted off your shoulders.
And if it were up to me, I'd be playing for free. He's like, dude, you got to stop doing that. I'm like, I know. That's why you're here.
Right, yeah. That's great. All right, so next here on the list, I got to hear the story about almost dying on the way to King Buffalo show. Yeah,
so we did a long weekend with them. It was 4 days, and our last show was in New York. And we were actually borrowing Ruby the Hatchet's van. They had just gotten off the super long tour, I think all the way out to Psycho Vegas and back. And the last day of tour, we're driving up to New York, and there's maybe like 6 or 7 of us in the van because we, where it's just New York, and obviously we have like friends in Philly, people are coming. So, all of a sudden the van just starts shaking a little bit, and we're all like, I guess probably everybody initially thought we had like a flat tire or something. And then everybody just kind of like looks out the left side of the van, and then the van in the back on the driver's side just drops. And we kind of don't know what's happening. We're going maybe 65, 70 miles an hour. Our drummer thankfully had a good head on his shoulders. But it was kind of like, I think we saw people backing up away from us, like slowing down.
They were preparing.
Right. And thankfully there was like nobody really on the highway, but it's just like right going from like Pennsylvania into New Jersey. So, so we skid to a halt on the side of the road. Like the van is like eerily silent, right? Probably because we all think we're gonna die. So we and our like TM merch person is like, she's a Final Destination. So I'm sure she has some thoughts, but so we like, I think maybe we ground to a halt a couple 100 yards or something, and the back tire and axle has like slipped out of the shaft.
Oh wow.
And we watched it bounce across the highway and back and landed like right in front of the van.
That's wow. Wow. That's
so we're
terrifying.
So we're like, okay. Okay. So I'm talking to, I think, is it Scott, the drummer from King Buffalo, or I think it's Scott. I can't remember. I'm sorry. But I'm talking to him, and he's like, okay, like, are you guys good? Like, are you gonna, like, what's, I was like, don't worry about it. We got it. And then it's like, whatever. So, so we had some friends come and pick us up, and then we used our guitarist's van. We had to like pare down our gear a little bit. But so we're calling AAA, and AAA is like, we don't come to that part of this. I'm like, excuse me? I'm in Pennsylvania. They're like, no, you're not in the right part. I'm like, I am. I'm telling you that I am.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going back and forth, and the PennDOT guy comes by, and he's like, oh, yeah, I can tell you guys if you want. And we're like, oh, no, we're waiting for AAA. AAA calls us back. They're like, the driver said he doesn't want to come get you. And I mean, it was just like, AAA is like, cool, you can die. Bye.
Yeah.
So we just left the van and went, and we played this show, and we get there, and he was like, yeah, I like didn't know what you meant when you were like, don't worry, we got it. and then we just showed up and like ripped our last show of that little run, and the rest of the story is extraordinarily frustrating. Needless to say, I don't think I'll ever be using AAA again.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
But it was just, it was just like, oh my God, it's like nobody would come get us. It's like nobody's problem, right? And then finally the guy who, and then when Ruby the Hatchet called their Ford dealer, because it's obvious that whoever did maintenance did not do their job, they quoted them for the whole repair and then called me to ask if I worked for AAA. And I'm like, this.
That's a nightmare.
I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Oh, what's happening?
The fact that you had to deal with it afterwards too, like it all happened. Yeah,
for 2 days because nothing's open on Sunday.
Right.
And this happened on a Saturday, so thankfully, like the police came by and just had it towed. But then it was like, no, you don't go to this one. Like our office is here, but our tow lot's over here. So then I go to the tow lot, and then it's like a whole thing. And then the guy finally comes, and he's like, basically tells me that I didn't have to do anything that I did, and that AAA screwed up. And I was like, all right, man. Okay.
Thanks for the added stress.
Okay, that's cool. I'm glad I took a PTO day for this.
Right.
But yeah, so there's also a video of that on the Instagram. Nicely edited too, in the Hall of the Mountain King. I think I'm just like completely losing my mind. But so yeah, that's about it. We almost died, but we didn't.
That's terrifying. So you guys were still moving when you saw it?
Oh yeah. No, well, so we finally came to a stop.
Yeah.
And that's when
it just
the
kept
wheel
going.
bounced back in front. But no, like the wheel came off, and I think we were just lucky because if we had been going faster, had to slam on the brakes. There's so much gear at the back of the van. I mean, it could have been. It really, like, I'm laughing about it now, but it really could have been so much worse.
Oh right.
If there were more cars on the road, So, but yeah, no, the tire just like fell off.
Yeah. We've had that happen, not to that extent, but we've had something similar to that, and it's terrifying. I actually, as a child, something similar to that happened on my way to Disney with my parents, and we watched the entire car burn to the ground in South Carolina. That was an experience, and then I was supposed
to car.
So. It was my childhood best friend's family's vehicle. They had a conversion van, and they were like,
"You doing like a little caravan situation?"
Yeah, they were like, "We're all just gonna go. We're just gonna go together."
Right.
So 2 families in one van, and the tire flies off on the interstate, and then because it was just so hot, the gas tank punctured, the gas lit up, and we watched it. We were all in the car when it started on fire. It was crazy. It was insane.
Wow.
I just remember I'm in like 6th or 7th grade. I've never been to Disney. I'm like, yes, it's fine. We're going for 2 weeks, 2 fucking weeks of this. Like, I've never gotten to do
You're
this.
Like, I'm gonna ride Space Mountain many times.
Which coincidentally, I did end up doing that.
If I don't burn to death first in South Carolina.
Yeah, I ended up doing that when I was like 27. Finally.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. But yeah, it was crazy. The whole I replay it in my head all the time just because like it's such a fucked up story. But dropped my shoe under the car when we were getting out. I went to grab it and I just see flames just wrap up over the car. It was insane. People are laughing at us while we're on the side of the road watching this thing burn. It was insane.
Oh, neat.
Then we had to figure out a way to get home. That was an experience.
Wow.
So
that's
yeah.
What a
That's
family vacation, man.
Yeah, I was back to school in 3 days, and they were like, "What happened?" I'm like, "I don't want to talk
You're
about
like,
this."
I'm just completely emotionally distressed.
Yeah,
Dude.
no.
It's fine. How's
Life is
Disney
shit.
World? You just start like twitching.
I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So next year on the
better
list,
the
we have,
car than a ride, I guess.
what's that?
I said better the car than a ride.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Space
That's-
Mountain catches on fire.
that's terrifying.
It's
The
so-
thought of that.
It's so dark in there.
There's so many of those videos now, like on Instagram and everything, of people just like falling from shit. Of,
Oh
like,
God,
these
no.
carnival rides and everything. I'm like, what? I'll never go on a carnival ride. What are
Wasn't
you
it
insane?
Fabio like killed a goose with his head on one of those or something?
I did not hear that story, but I hope it's true.
Yeah, I think that's real. I'll
That's
double check.
absurd.
I'll check my sources.
That's insane. So next year on the list, you have driving to muddy routes and playing in a torrential downpour, then hauling ass back north to get to see scorpions in Atlantic City.
Yeah, that was awesome. That's just like sort of a fun thing. But someone couldn't play, so they asked us to fill in last minute, and we ended up sort of like headlining, I guess. We played right after Horse, but that was not. It was things were supposed to happen, so we ended up down there. It's like just opens up, like it's bad, right? And so we're like, we're probably not going to be able to play, blah 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 blah. And it is just absolutely raining its ass off. But it was one of like the most magical sets, and I mean, Muddy Roots is like the coolest festival. It's probably my favorite festival to play out in Tennessee. But yeah, we were like, I don't know if we're gonna be able to play, blah 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 blah. So they moved us to this tent. We were supposed to play outside, but the band before us kept getting shocked, so we were like, oh, we're not trying to do that.
Yeah, no.
But it's just like so muddy, and it's Saturday, so like everybody's on acid and like blah 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 blah. And it's just like trying to pee anywhere is a nightmare. So it's just, and it's like I look like Russ Cole and like smoking cigarettes. like, but it was absolutely fantastic. But then one of our friends was there, and there were like these 3 dumpsters on our way out. These 3 dumpsters, and they're just like filled with like the guts of tents because it was that bad. So one of our friends was like, yeah, I just like, it started raining really bad, so I moved to my car and then just watched my tent get decimated from inside my car. I just slept in my car. But yeah, and then we just hauled ass all the way back to Atlantic City to go see scorpions. It was great.
That's a great ending.
Yeah. Oh, it was awesome. They still got it, man. They still got it.
That's great. Let's see here.
And also, it's not even shamelessly, people should definitely check out Muddy Roots because it's super awesome.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
a good
for
vibe.
sure. Yeah.
It's a good vibe.
Where's your favorite place you've played? Like, is there a most memorable show you've played?
Good question. I mean, there were a couple festivals. I mean, really, like the first show that we played in Europe was in Switzerland, and it was just kind of overwhelming. But then I saw these pictures that this photographer sent us after, and there's like so many people, and it's just like, it's just cool. Yeah. It's not even, it's not even that it's Europe or that there's like a lot of, I mean, it is that it's Europe, but just, it's I think that will always be maybe not like my favorite show, maybe not our best show or whatever, but that is always going to be right in like the top 3.
Yeah, the experience.
Yeah. Man, that's a really good question. I mean, I have like favorite bands that I've played with, and like I have some of my favorite venues. But I don't know. I'd have to think about that, honestly. You may have stumped me. I think I need to get together like a short list.
I mean, we can come back to that if you think of it.
No, I mean, there's just been like a lot of really awesome. It's hard to like weigh them against one another. I mean, I have some pretty funny stuff. First time we ever played with I Hate God, we only played one song, and then all of my gear stopped working.
Oh,
But
man.
every other time I've seen Gary and Mike, they're like, "Oh, hey," or I'm like, "Yeah, me."
Yeah.
Yep, that's me. And then I finally figured out that it was just like a volume pot. So all I had to do was like dial it back like half a tick and it would have been fine. But, so
Yeah, but in
that's
that
okay
moment,
too.
you're like in full panic, you don't know what it
Oh my
you're
God.
beating the hell out of the thing.
Yeah, but they were so nice. Like Gary came out, we tried to switch heads. Like their guitar tech came out, and I was like so busted up and sad. But then they were like, "Smoke this joint," and I was like, "Okay."
I feel better now.
Yeah. And the next time I saw them actually was at Muddy Roots, and that's how they remembered me.
That's amazing. What's your go-to record you got to listen to on a drive? Like no matter what, every tour, you're like, I got to throw this on.
Oh boy. I mean, for me, it's probably. I usually listen to. Black Magic by Slayer.
Okay.
Songs for the Deaf by Queens of the Stone Age. And I know there's like kind of like a third rotating one. I like to listen to Interpol while I'm driving.
Okay.
I think like not necessarily records, but like Interpol and Black Angels, those get played. Those get played a lot. But it's a lot of just like passing the aux cord around.
Yeah.
I made like a 5-hour like road trip like oldies playlist. I'm so bored.
I love that.
It's like I don't know, like one of those states where there's just like it's just a stretch of highway where there's not much going on. But yeah,
Midwest.
just a lot of like, oh shit, remember that? There's usually corn in there somewhere.
Yeah.
For fun.
I feel like when like for most people when they tour and when they're doing those long night drives in through the Midwest that takes forever and there's just nothing to look at. That's when they revisit the shit that's like the most nostalgic from when they were kids. That they're like not 100% proud that they listened to them, but they're like still know every word.
Oh no, corn slaps. Don't get me wrong.
I'm not even referring to corn. I'm talking about like,
but just in general,
pop music from when I was, like stuff. I'm like, I don't listen to this anymore, but I would throw it on because I'm like, I just gotta keep the wheels turning,
All killer, no filler. That's
great record.
Night Drives is like usually Last Podcast on the left or like Coast to Coast.
Yeah.
We're listening to like the Black Eyed Children episode of Last Podcast. And we had to like pull over to switch drivers, and there's just like nothing around, and we're just like it's just me and our TM, and we're just like we're like the two girls. So we're just like we got out to switch, and then we were like we should have just switched inside the van because it's creepy. But so I like to creep myself out. I'm usually the one that's driving at night anyway, so I'm just like white knuckling, listening to like weird Wendigo stuff or whatever.
Yeah, I feel that. I used to be the main driver, and just because the van was always in my name, and I don't trust people with my life.
Same.
So,
I like driving too.
Yeah, so do I. So I
Might
would
be
just
control
like
thing.
chain smoke and
100%.
Quitting touring was probably the best thing I've ever done for my health, to be completely honest.
I mean, I can completely understand how that would change your mental and physical health.
Oh yeah. I miss it. I miss parts of it, but
yeah, it's there are things that I could not deal with ever again, but all in all,
van breakdowns are the worst. They're so demoralizing, defeating.
And you're just like, yeah, we'll be there whenever. Start without me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So use your back line.
Honestly, that's the best when you don't have to. I'm a drummer, so like not having to load my shit out.
Oh yeah, but I also feel like that's the biggest gamble because sometimes they're like, yeah, we got a drum kit, and you roll up, it's like a first act. Yeah. There's already like a million holes punched in all the heads, and
but like, you don't feel as bad if you fuck something up.
Neat. I didn't realize we were recording Saint Anger tonight.
So next year on the list, probably evading arrest on the last day of tour with Toke. What happened there?
Yeah, so this was all a while ago, but we did a run with them out to like the Midwest and back, and we were just like hanging out and partying, and Tim kept going in and out, right? And so we're just like, okay, we gotta like either we either have to like sleep in the van or we gotta like lock the door or something. So we don't lock the door. So we wake up, and this is a couple lineups ago. So Brandon was our guitarist, and Tina was the drummer at the time. So we wake up, and it's basically like there's two cops standing in the fucking doorway of our friend's house, and there's definitely like weed everywhere. So everybody's just like as we kind of start waking up, right? We get woken up because one of the cops is like tapping. He's like tapping Brandon's head. And we, everybody wakes up out of the sleep because we've been drinking, smoking, whatever. So we wake up and we're just like, what is going on? And so I guess Tim couldn't remember which house we were staying in.
Oh,
I mean, probably neither could I.
Yeah.
But so he was just banging on all these doors, like 6 something in the morning, and so somebody called the cops. Like someone, I guess like somebody's trying to break into my house.
Yeah.
Or there's this dude who's like whatever. So so our friend whose place we're staying at, the cops are just, I guess they go like follow up. They're like, who lives here? And so we're all just trying to scrape shit off the table and like hide all this, like, oh, it's our friend, it's sorry. He goes back, and it was just kind of like hiding in. He's just kind of like standing in the corner of the room,
just hiding.
Because he was freaked out,
Yeah.
But our friend was just like, not. He was hungover, and the cops are like, blah, 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 and he's like, "No, I'm too tired." And so I was still sort of piecing things together, but I guess they just left.
Yeah. So no one.
But
they were cool with it.
I don't know if they were cool. I think it was just like somehow it managed to get smoothed over or whatever. But it's Indiana, so it's like if you're smoking weed in Indiana,
they're not down with that.
You might as well be practicing witchcraft in Salem, So yeah, we very nearly could have. That would have been a big payday for the Indiana PD.
Yeah, a lot of paperwork.
I mean, yeah, unless it's just like the Dave Chappelle show where the cops come in and like sprinkle all over the house. Like, no paperwork needed. Like, no, do not pass go. Do not collect $200 straight to jail. Yeah. So, but thankfully we didn't. And yeah, that was a really fun tour.
Speaking of Dave Chappelle, you actually made note here that you.
I did. Yeah, we were in Dayton, I think.
Okay.
The night before, at this place called Blind Bob's. And if anybody listening has ever played at Blind Bob's, you know exactly what happens when you go to Blind Bob's, which is you literally just go fucking blind, because you're like, you go ask for water, and then this one dude, Jimbo, you go ask for water, and he'll just give you a shot. So that's like, it's a great. We also iced the shit out of Coke there. That was fun.
Is that the bar? Is that the bar where it like wraps around? Because I think we may have played there. I don't remember.
It's like you walk in, and there's like a little partition, and then the bar is like a U.
Yeah.
But then like around to the left is the stage, and there's like the windows behind you, kind of.
Yeah, I think we played.
Yeah, it's like right in downtown Dayton. But yeah, me and I guess it was their old drummer. We were outside smoking a cigarette, and he has his. I'm like facing the venue, and he has his back to the venue. We're talking, and this dude walks by, and I was just like, because we didn't want, it was like right after he kind of like came back from his sabbatical. He had just done his first appearance on SNL. I'm like dating myself, probably talking about this, but he had just done his like first appearance on SNL, and at the time, like retrospectively, I'm like, I should have asked this motherfucker if he wanted to go around back and like smoke a joint or something. Because there are people who are like, oh my god, Dave Chappelle, like blah 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 blah, and it's like, I'm sure you have to expect it, because he's from like Yellow Springs or whatever is out there close by.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was just like, well, and then Jeremy turned around, and and we were just like stared at each other for a minute. But yeah, little celebrity sighting. But we didn't want to like
try not to fangirl.
Yeah, I mean, that's just sometimes you just like, especially being in bands. Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I got to meet a boss. That's a whole story. But you just kind of, they're just like people. They're just people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and even as a musician, you sort of um not romanticize, but like, and I mean with good reason, right? Like I have heard so many stories about how Josh Homme is a dick, but I just frankly I'm like, dude, it's the Queens of the Stone Age is like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my god. I'm like, why didn't I write this? It's so good. Why didn't I write this? So it's just not you romanticized, but like
Yeah.
it's with good reason. If somebody has music that like means a lot to you, you do kind of, I do it too. But then you get into it a little bit more, and it's just like people want to be treated. Most people, I think, yeah, even celebrities, probably just want to be, like, oh hey, I like that thing you did. That's cool.
Yeah. I
You
feel
know?
like when you do, like, if you meet somebody that you're like, a big fan of, if you're
Mhm.
they're more likely to have like a conversation with you if you are chill,
Oh yeah, yeah. A friend of mine, oddly enough, he I guess knows Mikey, the bass player for Queens of the Stone Age now. So
Mm-hmm.
he was kind enough to get me a little friends and family pass. And I'm like, I'm like eyeballing this motherfucker all night because I'm
Right.
trying to figure out what pedals you got. I'm trying to figure out what you're doing and blah blah
Yeah.
blah. And so we get back there. Like the first thing out of my mouth is like, is it also Fender Jazz Bass? You know what I mean? That's the
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
like that's what I want to, that's what
And
people want
honestly,
to
he
talk about.
probably was like, yeah, let's talk.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. It
Yeah.
is a Fender Jazz Bass. I already knew the answer to that question, but I couldn't think of anything. Like, what am I gonna do? Like,
Yeah.
you're tall and really handsome. What kind of bass do you play? I don't know. But yeah, no, it's fun getting to
Mhm.
like getting to know people, and so I know that's the whole tangent that we went on, but
Yeah.
um,
That's what the
well,
podcast
it's
turns
part
into.
of tour too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I saw Nick Oliveri and Muddy Roots, and I was like, this guy looks like he wants to punch me and then eat my face. And then I was like, you're one of my favorite bass players, and I think that you're playing on Songs for the Deaf is probably
Mhm.
like shaped a lot of mine. And he was like super nice. He was like, oh, he's like, thanks. And now we see each other kind of on the road sometimes, and it's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
hey,
Just
it's
wanna
cool. It's
just one of
cool, and
the
I hope
ones.
that I hope people get that impression when they talk to any of us too, that we just
Right.
are like pretty normal. I mean, we're weird, but
Yeah, I could never imagine like getting the type of fame that like Kanye West is. He just like
fuck no.
anything that dude says is people have something to say about it, no matter what, whether it's good or
Yeah,
bad. And it's a lot of times it's pretty
for
bad,
sure.
but
Yeah, yeah.
it's just
But
like
I think that's anything too. It's just like, I mean, granted, I think a lot of the shit he says is dumb, but
oh yeah, for sure.
you know, but it's probably at that level it gets a bit. It's like you go one way or the other,
Yeah, you got
right?
to lose your sanity a little bit there,
Right.
especially when
But
you're already like bipolar and stuff, which
when
he's
you're
been
all
open about.
because you're already having like you're already like
Yeah,
in a mental health crisis, and then you have like it's just constant everything, and
yeah,
then you have people probably taking advantage of you anyway,
right.
even if you didn't have BPD, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Right.
So it's like I can't just be like he's a piece of shit, because like
Mm-hmm.
Lord knows I got my own.
All right. So
Ugh.
lastly, I usually ask this favorite food on tour, or is there like
Eggs
anything
Benedict.
eggs Benedict? I have it. Want to
Yep.
hear a funny joke I came up with?
I would love to. Is it about Eggs Benedict?
Yes.
Then yes,
This is
absolutely.
the dumbest
If it
joke
was
ever.
about a different food, I would have said absolutely not. Go fuck yourself.
This is the
Um,
dumbest joke ever. I'm a newly 6 months ago dad, so it's totally warranted.
okay,
I'm allowed to
okay.
do this now.
So the transformation has started happening.
It's complete. I've been working my whole
You
life for this.
see,
No.
changed.
Why
Okay.
why was the bread why was the toast pissed at the eggs?
I I want to figure it out so bad, but I feel like nothing that I say
You're
is going to be
way
right. So,
overthinking it
yep. So hit me with it.
because the eggs Benedict. Yeah, play on it like real punny. Yeah, stupid, idiotic.
Oh boy. Okay. Okay. So I'll leave you with this little bit. It's not really a tour story. It's not really a joke. But we went to this place called the Egg in South Carolina on this tour. It was right. I think it was right after Mike farted in Paisley's face while he was getting ice.
Classic.
4 of us went out to this place called the Egg. And this thing happens on tour when like people find out that you're in a band and you go to like a local establishment. They get really excited, and it's very cool, you know. So they were like, posted on their Instagram or like in their Facebook and whatever, but they have these little stuffed eggs, like plush, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody got these eggs. And I can only remember 2 names. I named mine Edgar Allan Poached.
Not bad.
And then I think our drummer named his John Scrambo.
Love it.
So if you're ever in South Carolina, I have no idea what city. Probably somewhere outside of like Columbia. Look up the Egg. Go get yourself a stuffed egg. And you can name it whatever you want. You can name him Benedict. Name him Benny.
There's another good one. Good one, yeah.
But I feel like every place we go, because we're a big breakfast, like that's like the band always takes care of breakfast every morning. That's like part of our, that's how we reel them in. Join Heavy Temple, free breakfast on tour.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like Eggs Benedict everywhere.
Love that. And then is there anything that you like, any stops on tour that you do every time, like you look forward to it the most? It doesn't have to be food. It could be like, the Grand Canyon or anything like that.
I mean, Buc-ee's.
Fair. I can't wait to someday finally.
Listen, if you are in Buffalo long enough, it will creep up to you, man.
I don't know. We still don't have a Waffle House.
You might have dodged a bullet there, dude.
I love Waffle House so much.
Do you like Waffle House, or do you like the fights at Waffle House?
No, I love Waffle House.
I feel like there's multiple tiers of Waffle House appreciation. It's like, I hate their food, but I love watching people fight at Waffle House.
I love their food, honestly. I'm a big breakfast guy, so as you can tell by my dad joke that I came up with, so it's on the mind always. But
well, I mean, I'm glad that we have that in common.
Love that.
That's man. Everybody's laid off and we can't afford to pay anybody, but goddamn it, we're gonna build a Buc-ee's in Buffalo.
I don't know if it would work because we have a Wegmans, originated out here.
You haven't until you witnessed the majesty of Buc-ee's. It's like one of those things that you just have to kind of like experience yourself. You know what I mean? People are like, I saw God.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, cool. But
have
it's
you been
like,
to Buc-ee's?
But yeah, cool. You've seen God, but have you been to Buc-ee's?
Have you seen the meat wall at Buc-ee's?
Have you seen the jerky wall at Buc-ee's? Like, Jesus may have died for our sins, but there's so many other things that died for the jerky, dude. It's really impressive. No, I don't. I apologize to anybody who's like Jesus more than jerky, I guess. But no, I think Buc-ee's is generally, because we find ourselves touring the South a lot.
Yeah.
So, but there are places that sometimes we'll find that are like on the way where we're like, oh, we have to go here. Like we stopped in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, which was like Town X, where they were doing all of the testing, and like everybody's got cancer now, but it's cool. The town itself has like really embraced like the science aspect of everything. Okay. So, so we'll try to find stuff like that, but I think Buc-ee's is probably like the one thing.
I love that. I can't wait. I can't wait for it to finally.
Now.
I can't wait to cross paths with Buc-ee's.
Dude, I mean, it's a sight to behold, certainly.
Love that. Okay, Nighthawk, it was a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure's all mine. Thank you.
If there's anything you want to promote, now would be the time.
Yeah, I mean, just like I said, we have a couple singles coming out. And then we have our new album. It's called Garden of Heathens. It's coming out April 12th on Magnetic Eye. And not really promoting, but like this record's really about like I don't know that it's antithetical to metal. It's not about like dragons and bongs and whatever, but it's a journey of self-exploration. And so if anybody's been going through it, I would encourage them to give the album a listen and listen to some of the lyrics. We got a beef track on there. If you hate somebody,
Love that.
So no, but it's very cathartic. So the hope is that it can provide some of that for other people. So that's all on the promotion tip.
Okay, awesome. Everybody, thank you for sticking around, giving the episode a listen. Make sure you follow Heavy Temple and everything they've got going on April 12th, right? April 12th. Keep an ear out for that. And anything they've got going on, I'll have some links and everything down in the description. And share with a friend, family member, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, bitch.